In September 2010, I went to Hungary to visit our paprika suppliers. Now, Hungary is a major producer of paprika, and the main paprika producing regions are Kolochar, which is about 2 hours south of Budapest, and Szeged, which is about another 3 hours further south. Now, there was a special surprise in store for me, because as well as catching up with my paprika suppliers, at the end of September every year in Kolochar, they actually have a Paprika Festival. What's a Paprika Festival? Well, it's about all things paprika. There's a paprika museum there, and you find all sorts of people cooking different dishes using paprika. There's actually a cooking competition. Some very interesting things happen. So I was fortunate enough to have my camera with me, and I'd like to share some of the interesting moments that I experienced while I was in Kolochar. Of course, entering every festival involves walking past all the stalls that are selling things. But the real fun starts when we begin to see all of the tents that have been set up for the people who are doing their cooking. And these are people who are cooking their own family recipes to put into the cooking competition. Naturally, there are ristras of paprika hanging up, because of course, it's a paprika festival, so you're going to find paprika everywhere. I love to see various people cooking their own special recipes, and they're so proud of what they're doing. And you can just imagine the aroma that's coming off all these beautiful dishes. Here we've got a group of likely lads that have actually got a slab of beer behind them and a few bottles of schnapps. And these guys are having a great time as well. And just look at the amount of paprika that must be in that stew, the way it's bubbling and steaming away. What I also found interesting was the fact that everyone brings in their own cooking equipment. So whether they've got a pot hanging over a gas fire, this guy, you can see he's got some quite big cauldrons that the dishes are cooking in, and again, the whole place is just permeating with the smell of paprika. This cook has started his recipe, and now he's sprinkled the paprika over the top, and he's just giving it a little bit of a swirl and it'll gradually cook through. And of course, with all these pots, you can imagine, 35 to 40 people who are all cooking. They've all got these pots bubbling away, and it is just amazing, the aroma. This particular one is some quail that's been wrapped in bacon. Beautiful flavour. And here we've got some pieces of chicken that have been cooked in a very rich, you'd almost call it a paprika broth. And just again, the aroma coming from this was fabulous. On the right, you can just see what we just saw. That was some paprika bread. Now, of course, people often cook things differently, and here we've got a fire going, and eventually these guys are going to put their dish on the fire. This is one I love particularly, where you've got Grandpa who is giving his grandson a taste of the dish that they're cooking together, and his reaction is a little bit interesting, but you can see that everyone is having a really great time. Now, something else that's fascinating is that as part of this festival, they honour people who they call the Knights of Kolochar. These are people who have done a lot of work for the paprika industry and for Kolochar in general. And of course, here we've got, would you believe, the singing chefs. Now, something that really tickled my fancy was this group of guys who were playing a cymbalum. See that instrument that looks like a piano on its side? It's called a cymbalum. And the cymbalum player, the fellow with the tie on, you'll see he's playing it in a very similar way to the way you'd play a xylophone. Just a wonderful experience. And then finally, we see a group of I think they must be hospitality students. They're obviously students of some description. And they've been working all afternoon preparing these dishes. And here they are taking them along to the judging tent for the final judging. So if you ever get a chance to be in Hungary at the end of September, you must go to the Paprika Festival.